håller den muntliga presentationen sen inför klassen, så blir då klassen den möjliga kunden som ska köpa in din tjänst. Nu kan jag ju inte se då handuppräckning och sånt, så att, men hur känns det? Är det någonting som liksom lockar er? Är det någonting ni känner att ni har gjort en del av i det här varumärkesstrategin som jag vet att ni har läst redan? Vad tänker ni? Ordet är fritt, så kör.
Tycker det låter superintressant. Och jag tror, nu talar jag på annan rätt med om jag har fel, men jag tror inte vi har haft något där med att sälja in i det i presentationer, tror jag nog inte vi har jobbat med under den här kursen.
Okej, inte än. Då är det bra.
Åsa?
Ja.
Vi har Petrit som skickar pin till mig. Han kommer in i mötet men han hör ingenting. Är det någon annan som har problem och inte hör någonting eller med ljudkvaliteten av er som sitter med?
Jag har varit med om det innan, men man får starta om datorn och jag har gjort och så funkar det sen.
Ja, då ska jag ge honom det rådet. Tack så mycket, Agnes. Den andra delen är att jag försöker spela in mötet, men jag får upp ett meddelande om att det måste godkännas av alla mötesdeltagarna inklusive gästerna för att det ska kunna komma igång. Så jag vet inte om ni har fått något meddelande där ni måste godkänna det, för annars startar inte inspelningen, vilket ett litet problem ifall det är någon som vill se det efterhand. Jag vet inte, jag kan bara trycka på spela in mötet, men då står det upp enligt Google Meets regler så måste alla godkänna det liksom, och jag vet inte om ni fått något meddelande på att alla de mötesdeltagare godkänner det.
Det står spela in, men jag har inte fått någon
Okej, det kanske spelas in då i alla fall, som sagt, men jag fick en notis om det att alla måste godkänna det, men det kanske spelas in, så ja, vi får väl testa.
Det märker vi grundtid i så fall.
Ja, tack så mycket. Det var allt från utbildningsledaren här. Jag ska skicka pin till Petrit.
Tack. Jaha, det förklarar ju varför jag ser att Petrit kommer in och ut hela tiden. Det förklarar ju varför. Men ni andra hör då, förstår jag. Så att, annars får ni hojta. Jag har ju ett par såna här fina lurar med mikrofon och så. Men om jag slipper använda det så tycker jag det är bättre. Det blir så jobbigt i öronen, känner jag. Jo, så det är tanken också. Cirka 800 ord. Behöver jag lägga upp detta på anslagstavlan senare kanske? 800 till 1000 ord, någonting åt det hållet. Jag kommer inte att kugga för att ni har skrivit 750 eller 1100, men någonting i runda slängar där. Och att ni då håller en presentation på cirka 10 minuter. Och om ni då övar det framför en spegel eller så, eller framför en annan publik hemma, så tänk som om det behöver vara ännu längre. För man har en viss tendens till att prata lite fortare när man väl sitter fram eller står framför folk. Och jag gissar att ni kommer att få göra mycket under hela den här utbildningen. Så att det är väl bara att göra det helt enkelt. Och ju mer man gör det, desto lättare blir det. Och desto förhoppningsvis roligare blir det om man då får publikens reaktioner. Och man känner liksom att det är en delaktighet. Medans vi andra lyssnar på de presentationerna, så vill jag också att man ska tänka som den kunden som då sitter och får presentationen. För jag vill att vi ska ställa frågor efteråt. Vi ska vara en delaktig grupp. Så att om då till exempel Anna pratar om en viss om hennes tjänst och hon kan sälja till kunden och en viss kampanj som hon då tänker att det här är det bästa ni någonsin har sett. Då vill jag att ni också som lyssnare ska kunna fundera på vad är det nu hon har sagt, vad behöver jag ställa för frågor för att utmana henne lite. Se det inte som att ni sätter era klasskamrater på pottkanten, utan snarare ni får dem till att öppna upp, våga prata mer och en chans till att briljera med det man faktiskt kan och det man har lärt sig under den här kursen. Så är det. Och som vanligt så finns det ju då godkänt eller väl godkänt, och inga andra, förhoppningsvis, inga icke godkända, men inte några andra sådana här betygskriterier, utan det är det som gäller helt enkelt. Och det sätts ju på de två uppgifterna, även om jag verkligen ser att ni gärna är aktiva under lektionstid och så också. Ju mer aktiva ni är, desto mer ni frågar och ju mer ni gör utav övningarna, desto mer får ni ut av utbildningen helt enkelt. Men som sagt, jag tar gärna feedback vid varje paus eller varje dag via mail eller högt i gruppen om vad ni vill ha ut mer av den här kursen. Och är det någonting ni specifikt tycker att det här är jobbigt, grammatiken tycker jag är tuff eller så. Hojta då, för det finns alltid övningar jag kan lägga till exempel pingpong. Som vi inte behöver gå igenom här i klassrummet. För min inriktning på de här, det är inte många dagar vi har tillsammans. Så det är ju egentligen affärsengelska och branschorienterat språk. Så det är det formella i det hela. Så tycker ni att till exempel prepositioner är jobbigt eller hur man böjer verb är jobbigt. Ja, men då finns det övningar på sånt, men vi behöver inte gå igenom det här och nu. Och använd er av alla möjliga online-hjälpverktyg det finns. För det hade man gjort på en arbetsplats, så det tycker jag inte heller är konstigt. Ju mer hjälp man kan ta, desto bättre. Sen får det ju inte vara rena plagiat naturligtvis, men alltså det finns rättstavningshjälp, det finns grammatisk hjälp att få om man vill ha det. Mycket gör ju Word för er om ni skriver i Word eller Pages eller så. På en arbetsplats tänker jag att man hade använt sina kollegor till att bolla med. Så bolla med varandra om man behöver hjälp. Eller bolla med mig. Det går jättebra. Nu känner jag direkt att min hals sviker mig. Det här kommer bli en rolig dag. Men, never mind. Det mesta utav den här, jag börjar nu på svenska. Jag kan ju inte gömma mig bakom mitt namn och låtsas vara engelska med ett namn som Åsa. Jag vet inte vad mina föräldrar tänkte på. Men det är inte lätt att säga att man är brittiska liksom. Men jag har bott i England i många år, så jag kommer att köra den mesta delen av den här utbildningen på engelska för att ni ska få så mycket ut av detta som möjligt. Men det viktiga med den här början var ju att ni vet vad schemat är, det finns på pingpong. Och vi kommer att ha längre pauser än vanligt när det gäller övningar och så, för att ni ska kunna hinna ringa varandra, prata ihop er och sen återkoppla till gruppen. Och 9-16 är långa dagar framför datorn, så vi behöver bensträckare och andra typer av övningar utanför den här inspelningsbiten tror jag. Men som sagt, ni är ju vana att ha det så här nu efter den sista kursen ni har kört, så att även där, jag tar gärna feedback. Så. Nej, innan vi går in på lite om er, tänker jag. Och då försöker jag köra detta på engelska innan jag måste hämta lite vatten. So, who am I? Well, like I said, my name is Åsa, so I can't hide behind the fact that I'm Swedish. I can't pretend to be English or British, although I have had many years in England. I left Sweden after I graduated college and thought, I'm coming from Varberg, so Varberg was like the pits of the pits. You didn't want to live here. I thought this was just a hellhole on earth and so boring. So I traveled the Mediterranean for a while and met a Londoner who I fell in love with, and he was going back to London. So I started applying for colleges or universities in England and managed to get in on a course, and sold that idea to my dad that I just simply had to go to London to study instead of studying in Stockholm as was the plan originally. So 19 years old, and I set off around the Med, and when I turned 20 I moved to London. So I stayed in London for ages and ages, and I was only supposed to be there for like a year and a half to start with, and I think my mom and dad thought I was coming home after just 6 months, but so my bedroom was still intact here, not it was left as it was because I was coming home. And 17 years later, I eventually came home, so that was good. Obviously, I have visited many times in between, but I ended up staying in Britain in different towns and cities and doing different jobs. Then I moved home in 2011 because there were a few ash clouds that came in the way. If you remember from Iceland, there was some ash clouds from various volcanoes and stuff. We also had some snow chaos in England. When I say snow chaos, it was like this much snow. But that was a problem for the Brits. So a few things made me unable to travel home when I wanted to, and that freaked me out. So I thought that if I'm going to try to be a Swede, I need to try that before I turn 40. So I did. So I moved home just basically on leave from my company. I didn't resign. I wasn't ready to do that because I was quite convinced that I couldn't become a Swede again. I was more of a Brit than a Swede, but I was willing to give it a go at least, and it worked. I managed to settle in. I can't call myself properly Swedish yet, so I still think I've got one foot in each country, so to speak. So I'm a little bit in limbo land. You can still quite often hear me say, well, why do you do it like this? When I'm talking about some Swedish people. Even though I've now been back home since 2011, I still feel as though sometimes I can't understand the Swedish mentality or why you do certain things in a certain way. I still feel British in some ways. But I'm happy I made the move. This gives me an opportunity to be close to my family and still having an international career. So I eventually resigned from the company I was working for, but and started my own translation company back here instead. That's not what I did when I was in London though. I've done everything from customer service to supply chain. I work with statistics. I've been a team manager. What else have I done? A waitress in Pizza Hut to start with. And for the last 5 or 6 years, I was the project manager for an international company. Selling cigarettes of all things. As a non-smoker, I've never smoked, but it was a good company to work for. So it's called British American Tobacco. The people who make Pall Mall, Lucky Strike, Kent, those kind of brands. Brands, like I say, I've never smoked, but it was a very good employer, and they're brilliant at looking after their employees. So something that you as future copywriters and digital marketeers will probably look for in a company, because it's always easy to sell the kind of values that the company is actually representing, the kind of ethos that they want to portray to the rest of the world. So yeah, BAT is one of those companies, and I've worked for many different global big groups across the world, mainly with supply chain, which is basically everything from order entry with a customer to key account management to order fulfillment, invoicing, etc. In some roles, I've had an insight in all of those bits, and in others, I've been niched into certain, mostly in the key account management bit or customer service, but I've also dealt with logistics, for instance. I've not done very much in the marketing bit, apart from for my own company. So I now run a translation agency and work with authors, as in writers. I work with big and small companies, lots in the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels, but also other, I mean, the whole world is open to us now. So it's more or less online, obviously. But any product or service you want to sell to customers outside of Sweden, you have to have it in a different language. You have to sell in a different language. which is something you will probably become very aware of. And even if you're aiming your product to Swedish customers or people living in Sweden, they're not necessarily having Swedish as the first language, or many youngsters now, I think, Google more with English words than with Swedish. So I think that's an ever evolving business, basically. So I do some marketing for myself, but not very much. In the commercial field, I've been more involved with logistics and customer service. So that's me. So I now live in Varberg. The sun is shining outside. I can hear the birds tweeting. And I live in an old house, so an older property, should I say. So the windows out to both my garden and the street, they're not 100% soundproof. So you will probably hear people walking past, or birds and dogs, etc. in the background. I apologize for that. So yeah, I've been back since 2011, and I also teach, more of a language coach for business professionals who want to improve their language. Quite a lot of courses one-on-one. So if you're a CEO or a chief negotiator for a specific product, maybe you want to improve your language level so that you can hold negotiations abroad. If you want to, perhaps, or have to, deal more with the international market, then people contact me so that we can discuss in a different way, discuss their specific issues. Maybe they need to be presenting in front of people that they're not comfortable with in a different language, etc. So that's kind of my background now and what I do now. And I'm trying my best to, irrespective of whether it's for a specific customer group like you in a group, or if it's a one-on-one situation, I try to tailor the content of the course as much as possible to fit with the people that are involved. Because if I can connect with the participants, I think that's it gives everything a better level, a better quality, and it gives more oomph to what you're about to learn. So I want to make sure that I provide what you need rather than what I want to speak about. Because I can talk forever about books. As you see, I love books. I love reading. I don't write myself, I only translate. But I can talk about cakes, love cake baking. So, but I'm not going to bore you with that. The important thing here for me is to understand what you want to get out of it and how I can assist you to reach that next level. And obviously, judging by what I told you to start with, when I left Sweden, when I came back, and how old I am now, you must have calculated that by this point. So I think of this as a different type of career than I had beforehand, but still very similar in terms of I want to strive to the next step. I want to make sure that you, as my customers, are as happy as possible. And Varberg is a small town, so most of my customers are not based here, although I have a couple of big hotels here. But most of my customers are based around Sweden, or even in London if they want different kind of language help. And I also proofread in English for a couple of British publishing houses. And I help some authors as well, some Swedish and British authors, to reach a wider audience by being their literary agent. So I communicate on their behalf with other publishing houses. And what about my life here? Well, I'm turning 45 this year. I live with my boyfriend. I have my mum and dad upstairs because it's like one of those multi-family houses. My sister lives about 10 minutes walk from here. 5-minute walk in that direction. I have the seafront, so I love to go in sunbathing or having a dip in the sea, go for walks along the coast. And I'm not sure where you're based. I mean, I know you're studying in Borås, but maybe you come from all over Sweden, who knows? So I want to put the word across to you. But I'm going to give you, while I get some water for my throat, I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about what you want out of this course. You can present yourself with just a couple of words, because we're going to do a different exercise on that a little bit later on. But a couple of words about you, where you're based, what your name is, and what you want out of this course. I know some of you think, because I have heard from a couple of you already, that you think English could be a little bit frightening or scary, or I think the word was läskigt from at least one person, and I've heard it from another couple as well. But this is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to feel as though this is a safe environment. Make all the mistakes here. Use me and use your classmates as sounding boards. What kind of help do you need? Don't be afraid of expressing yourself in here, because this is safe and sound. Okay, so it's being recorded, but it's not going anywhere outside the group, so it should be fine. And it's 9:35, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes to put some words together. Something about you, and something about what you want out of this course, what you're looking forward to, or what you want to make sure I include. All right. So see you back here at 9:45. All right. Thank you for listening to me for this long. Petrif. Jag ser att du kommer in. Jag hoppas att jag uttalar ditt namn rätt. Jag ser att du kommer ut. Hör du mig nu?
Ja, jag är med.
Ja, men vad bra. Toppen. Välkommen.
Ja, tack.
Jag är ledsen att du missade början då, men jag hoppas att inspelningen funkar sen.
Ja, absolut. Det löser sig.
Det brukar det göra, eller hur?
Ja, jag är med.
Du Åsa?
Mm.
I början av nästa vecka på onsdagen där kommer jag kanske ramla in lite senare. För jag ska på ett läkarbesök på morgonen bara så att du vet det.
Okej.
Jag tror jag hinner tillbaka till 9 men jag vet inte helt.
Ja. Nej, men du kommer när du kommer. Det blir bra. Jag har hört av ett par av er som har andra. Är det så att det enda jag egentligen, naturligtvis, ju mer ni är med här, desto bättre. För det gör ju att man, så ni får någonting annat utav kursen än bara titta på pingpong efteråt med övningar. För mycket utav det jag vill lära ut är ju liksom att hur man pratar och så vidare. Och det gör man ju bäst i grupp naturligtvis. Så det blir inte riktigt samma sak om man ska sitta och göra det hemma sen. Men det spelas ju in, så kan man inte vara med så kan man inte. Så är det ju. Ni har ju tyvärr ingen närvaroplikt, får jag då säga.
Nej, men det...
Utan vad ni själva föredrar. Ja, så att no worries. Du kommer när du kommer. Men tack för att du sa det. Shit vad varmt. Förlåt.
Jag har en fråga också, Åsa.
Ja.
Den individuella uppgiften, kommer du presentera den ytterligare eller var det liksom?
Ja, jag tänker jag skriver ihop något litet dokument med lite mera riktlinjer.
Ja, vad bra.
Men det är väldigt fritt för your own interpretation, vad säger man, tolkning.
Ja.
Att gör det så att det blir liksom intressant för er själva. Hur kan ni, jag vill ju att det ska vara så, hur ska man säga, studieinriktat som möjligt. Så att om du känner för ett specifikt märke och du känner att, ja men, jag vet att ni jobbade med blåkläder innan har Claes sagt. Men till exempel om du tycker att, ja men, något visst märke, Nike, det är fantastiska skor. Ja, men jag vill skriva ihop en kampanj till dem. Som om jag skulle få pitcha för dem och säga, det här skulle jag vilja göra för er. Så gör det då. Alltså titta på någonting som inspirerar dig, om man säger så. Och så presentera som om vi i resten av klassen då sitter och är Nike-människor som ska köpa in din tjänst. Och ställa
det kan vara ett märke som redan finns. Det behöver inte vara något.
Absolut.
Ja.
Helt okej. Antingen som sagt sälja in en. Det finns ju säkert hur många märken som helst som ni nu som med nya ögon kan se. Okej, men varför gör de inte så här då? Liksom. Kom med förslag då, tusan. Det är ju ni som ska förändra världen.
Hjälp.
Jag vet inte heller hur jag har inte frågat Claes, förlåt, det är mitt fel, men jag vet inte hur er utbildning är upplagd. Ska ni ha praktik i höst eller
I vår
har man inte
12 veckor till.
Ursäkta, förlåt.
I vår har vi 12 veckor. 8 februari tror jag det börjar. Så nästa
Okej. Men ni har inte haft den här terminen då, eller?
Jo, det har vi haft nu under våren också. Så vi har 2 praktikperioder.
Okej. Ja, men det är ju underbart. Så är det så att man antingen redan vet vart man vill nästa år eller någonting man har liksom använt sig av i den praktikplats som man var på, så använd det om man vill. Liksom. Det här skulle jag kunna se som en grej. Och i vissa andra kurser som jag har haft så har de behövt skriva en presentation på där de har varit eller en utvärdering eller en hjälp till, beroende på vad det har varit. Men sälj till exempel. Jag hade några säljare eller några inköpare tidigare. Då har de ju fått hjälpa till med saker på företaget som de sen har fått presentera i klass på svenska. Men det kan man också använda sig av om man har gjort liknande grejer för där man har varit på praktikplats. Så det här blir ju ett nytt sätt, för man måste tänka på engelska. Så ni behöver inte återuppfinna hjulet om ni har gjort något liknande tidigare.
Bra, tack.
Vad säger copy with pride, om man säger så. Fast från er själva då, om man säger. Så vi inte sitter med en hel bunta kampanjer som ser likadana ut. Men har ni använt vissa saker tidigare, eller ni känner att den kursen ni gjorde på till exempel varumärkesstrategi, där var någonting som var jätteintressant. Det här vill jag ta upp på engelska. Ja, vad bra, gör det då. Använd er av det ni redan har fått till er. Liksom. Om ni vill. Bra fråga. Och hur uttalar jag ditt namn? Meli?
Ja, det stämmer. Det är jättebra.
Ja, vad fint namn, tänkte jag också.
Tack snälla.
Okej, så det har blivit 9:45 och lite till. Jag kör väl listan ner då. Agnes, vad tänker du? Could you give me a couple of words to describe you and what do you want out of the course?
Yeah, sure. My name is Agnes. I'm 20 years old and I am born and raised in Borås.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here for my entire life. I don't know anything. Hopefully I will move later on. So I'm looking forward to this course. I'm looking forward to learn new words and expressions, and also to learn how to adapt my language towards, example, my future clients.
Okay, so new words, new phrases. I'm sure we'll manage that one. And then adaptation. So you want to be able to adapt and adjust your communication depending on the counterpart.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Anna.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I also like to speak with the camera on because, like you, I like to see, and I use my body language a lot when I'm talking. Yeah. So my name is Anna. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Gothenburg. And like you, I live in a multifunctional home. I live with my grandfather.
Oh.
Yep, in a nice little symbiosis.
Okay. Ask him to join us.
He's actually, because of the corona, he's at the country house. So
we're in quarantine.
Yeah. Otherwise, he probably would have joined because I'm a very creative person. I think that everything that's creative is fun, basically. And with this course, I'm looking forward to learning how to use my English in a more professional way. With, like Agnes said, with words and phrases and stuff. So, yeah, and also learn how to spell maybe a bit better because that's not my strongest, what do you say, thing? Or, yeah, So, yeah.
Good. Well, it's not easy to spell when especially the Brits push in loads of letters that are not needed, right?
Yeah.
So lots of C's and U's and stuff that you don't actually have to say. So
yeah. And I know that it's different when you maybe applying for a job and they're a bit more strict in how you don't write in the same way as you do in Swedish, and that's going to be fun to learn how to do too. I think.
I'm sure we'll find some ways around that, but there's some phrases that this will always come up. Well, I'm going to use this at the start of a letter, this at the bottom of the letter, and whatever I do in the middle isn't that big a deal. Okay. But yeah, okay. So formal writing.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Excellent. Nice to see you as well. And Emma.
Hi. I also like to have the camera on, so I'm going to do that. My name is Emma. I'm 23 years old. I live in Gothenburg, where I'm born and raised, as Agnes said. What I want to learn in this course is to write better in English. I felt that when I was on my internship, that I didn't really knew the English words that are used in advertising when I wrote on English for them. So that would be fun to learn. And I want to be better at it, actually. just to be more professional and not use the regular language, so to say. That would be fun.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. I think also, though, you've chosen a particularly young industry. So you can get away with loads of things here that you might not if you were, I don't know, studying law.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice to know the words, because when I was on my internship, they wanted me to write a article in English, and I didn't really knew the English words for some things. So I Googled, and it was like straight translating and not good. So I really want to learn more branch-oriented words, I think.
Yeah, I think Google Translate is a wonderful tool that can help you along, if you see what I mean. But especially for random words. So if you just throwing a bunch of words at Google, they will give you perfect explanations back, but or perfect translation. But if you're having a like a whole article or a whole report on something, you're bound to find somewhere they've put in a word that is either not needed at all or irrelevant to the subject or whatever. So yeah, we'll try to come up with different ways around that then. Okay, but it's still formal writing then. Yeah. And specific words for your industry. När man säger bransch på bransch på svenska så kan man säga industry. Det är inte alltså bara industri och fabriker, utan även den nischen av en viss bransch man har. Bra. Det är jättesvårt, ska jag säga, att inte ha en whiteboard som jag kan klottra på. Så, men vad jag brukar göra när jag är i ett klassrum är att jag skriver upp på whiteboard, och så ni ser ordet medan vi pratar om det. Nu kan jag inte göra det för jag har ingen sån fancy tool så jag kan liksom kladda. Men jag skriver ihop en ordlista efter varje antingen varje vecka, tror jag. Det blir nog enklare. Så antingen efter varje lektion eller efter varje vecka så får ni ett Excel-ark eller en PDF med som jag lägger in på pingpong. Att de här är de orden som har kommit upp under diskussionen i klassrummet. Så även de som inte varit med, eller ni som har varit med och lyssnat men inte kanske fattade allt eller missade vissa ord, så finns de.
Förlåt, jag måste smita iväg lite. Min katt har en tratt och den håller på att fastna under sängen. Så jag måste...
Stäng av, hej då, tack. Okej, Felicia.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good, but I don't like to keep the camera on, so I'm going to skip that.
That's fine, okay. I'll just see a big bright F on my screen, that's cool.
Good enough.
That's fine.
I'm 25 years old, and I live in Borås with my boyfriend and my cat. And what I want out of this course is to, because I speak English every day with my boyfriend. So I sort of have the everyday English already, I would say. But I would really like to learn a bit more formal English that I can use in business contexts and in work and in the industry.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to keep me on my toes then. That's good. I'll make a note of that. But specifically for you then, if you're used to the language and using it every day, I'm sure all of you watch English series, you listen to English music all the time and stuff. But especially for someone like you then that use the language on a daily basis, as in having to speak it yourself, I think that's different. So if I'm not challenging you enough, tell me, and I'll try to give you extra help or extra curricular activities that will challenge you more. All right? Because it's important that you're getting whatever you want out of this.
Yeah, no, I'm sure this will be fine.
All right, cool. So English every day, nice one.
Yeah, he's Italian, so he doesn't speak any Swedish, so we're speaking English to each other.
All right, but you live together here?
We live in Borås, yes.
Okay, and what does he do for a living, may I ask, if he doesn't have to use Swedish?
He's a waiter.
All right, and can get away with not speaking Swedish. Excellent.
Yeah. But he's learning, though. I'm forcing him, so.
Well, I think Swedish must be a tough language to learn, though. Even though we pronounce every letter, more or less, I think our grammar is tricky for some people. If you come from, say, German, it's probably not so bad. But for someone from the non-Germanic language base, like French or Italian, it must be quite tough, I think.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's better when it's here, though, instead of trying to learn it from abroad. So, okay, cool. Nice one. Thank you for sharing, and nice to almost see you. Yeah, let's connect soon again. Felix, what about you?
Hello.
Hiya.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Nice.
Yeah. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Apart from this throat, I'm at least pretending it's not anything to do with Corona, but I've been coughing all night.
All right.
How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm healthy. I
Good.
was sick a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if it was Corona, but I was home from. I was home for like I think 3 weeks.
All right, crikey.
So, but now I'm healthy and good.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. So my name is Felix. I turned 24 a month ago. I'm born in Eskilstuna, but raised in Gothenburg, where I still live with my girlfriend. And what do I want out of this course? I think I would like to learn the difference between communicating through text in Swedish and English, and if there's like a big difference. And also, I would like to find out if the reader perceives the text differently depending on where in the world you are from.
Definitely, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's it.
So effectively then cultural differences, yeah. And connotations. That word is connotations is what you, hur kan man säga på svenska? Det man känner i ett ord. Vad är det du får ut för känsla ur ett visst ord? So if I use Swedish, I would say unna för mig, att jag unnar mig någonting. That might mean, for me personally, I think that's it's a special treat. It's something that I really want. I don't allow myself that every day. It's something special. Whereas other people, even in Sweden, would potentially use that word as a, well, I've been out for a run and therefore I can unna mig a cake. So it's something that's linked to performance. So you've done something and then you get something in return. For me, it's more of a, it's something special. It's nothing I have to perform or do. It's a treat. So, but I think all of those little nuances or connotations in words are different across the globe. And every reader is different. But it's interesting, especially with what's written between the lines. What kind of message are you putting out there, especially as a within marketing? If you're only allowed to keep to say 3 lines in an advert, what do you want to convey? What kind of message do you want the reader to pick up on? Really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Patience.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Motivation. I'm writing as we go along. It's important for me to try to sum this up somehow in my head, so that when we come towards the end of week 2, I want to do the same kind of check with you. Have we so far fulfilled what you're expecting? So that we don't come to the end of the course and you say, no, it's not what I wanted. And that goes for all of you, obviously. Okay. Frida. My list is skipping up and down, so sorry if I looked a bit weird there.
No. Hello, my name is Frida, and I am 20 years old, and I live in Sweden as well. Hey, Borås.
That's in Sweden too, that's good.
Yes. Yes, my goal with this course is to make myself more comfortable with speaking and writing English in general.
Good. That's good enough.
Yes.
And I think just touching base on that one, that's very much what you want out of it. So, sorry, you make this course into what you want in terms of, if I send you off for an exercise and you call up, if I say that you're supposed to be working with Agnes today and you call each other and then you speak Swedish, well, then it's not really fulfilling the exercise, but I'm not going to be able to listen in. So it's up to you to make sure that as much as possible then try to stick to English whilst we're doing exercises, or while even for the whole of today, if we're taking a lunch break, try maybe to listen to something English on English music, or keep in the mood as much as possible. And that goes for the whole 3 weeks. So the more English you can listen to, interact with, the better.
Okay, thank you.
And even if you listen to like audiobooks and stuff, I'll come on to that in a little while, but your subconscious mind picks up on an awful lot of things. Even if you think, oh, I couldn't understand all of that, or I can understand the context, alltså sammanhanget, but I didn't understand these 4 words. That doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind will pick through those bits, understand much more than you're aware of. And if you then carrying those 4 words that you didn't understand, if you carry them with you and write them down, look them up, eventually they will stick. So the more you can listen, even if you don't have a pad and pen right next to you, or watch the news in English on TV, for instance, anything like that without the subtitles, preferably, utan textremsor. The more you can subject your brain to English, the easier it will get. So it's just practice. But
okay.
But thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And yes, making everyone feel more comfortable. That's my goal. So that you realize it's not the end of the world if you say something that's incorrect, or if you make a mistake, if you're stuttering. I can hear myself going all the time, but that's my way. I would do that even if I was in front of you in person. If we were having discussion, one-on-one, I would probably do the same, because my mouth can't work as fast as my brain. So there's a slight connection problem there, I think. But that's not the end of the world. I want to make you feel comfortable enough so that you can get up on any stage across the world, in any conference room across the world, and feel comfortable enough to know, I know what I'm going to be presenting. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I do. Proud of my product or my service, and I will nail this, no problem. I will rock this world. All right. And also, with regards to speaking, try to get the intonation right. Så alltså ljudet i meningen, att det blir följsamt. Vi på svenska brukar hoppa så här upp och ner. Inte så mycket som norrmännen, men nästan. Och oftast i de engelsktalande länderna så börjar man här och så går man lite upp och så avslutar man. I slutet på meningen går man ner. Så lite lagom lugnt och så ner. Om man inte ställer en fråga så går man upp. Hur har du det idag? Eller, jag tycker allting är bra idag. And that's something you will pick up on as well. So practice with, when we do exercises, practice speaking just English. Even if you can't think of the right words, work your way around it. If you don't know the word for window, fönster, try to think of ways to describe that to the person that you're speaking to. So, well, you know that big piece of glass that you're looking out of onto the street from your house, or that you're sitting in your car and you're looking out onto the road, that sort of thing. So you can describe things around it. And before you say anything, I know that the car window isn't called a window, it's called a windscreen, but for the purpose of explaining. Så det finns sätt att arbeta runt om det språket, men ju mer man lyssnar, ju mer man pratar, desto lättare blir det. So Thank you, Frida. And on to Hannah.
Yes, hello. My name is Hanna Persson.
Hi, Hannah.
I'm 25 years old and I live in Skövde. It's like 1.5 hours from Borås.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, during these couple of weeks, I would also like to get a bit more comfortable speaking English and, yeah, well, to learn a few new words and phrases that can be useful for our future careers.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
you're happy with this dialing in from home situation then, so you don't have to travel to Borås?
Yeah, it's a bit more comfortable actually.
Yeah. I suppose also it's weird. I mean, you've obviously had a couple of courses together. I'm assuming so. You have met all the rest of the class to start with at the start of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know each other, but that's probably easier for you then. Now in this online version, because you all know each other already.
Yeah, that's way better. We were in school from like August, September to January.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. I think it's difficult to build relationships just online, especially with a large group like this. If it was just me and one client of mine, I could do it via Skype, and then we'll eventually get to know each other, although it will take longer than meeting physically in real life. But face-to-face is always nicer, I think. But in this particular instance, it serves you nicely not to have to travel. So good. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. And Judith.
Hiya.
Hi.
I'll do it with the camera on, even though I haven't really rolled out of bed yet. But my name is Judith. I'm originally from Karlstad in Värmland. I went to an independent English school when I grew up, so I grew up speaking quite a lot of English, although it was mostly like American English.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live and work in London as well. Yeah. Sorry?
Whereabouts?
Kensington and Sloane Square.
Very posh.
Yes. And I hope this course will be more like a repetition of what I learned abroad and in school.
It's more of a refresher for you then. You've
Yeah,
done this
exactly.
before.
Yeah.
But same as, was it Felicia? Same. I would ask you to do the same then. If I don't challenge you enough, let me know.
Of course.
But yeah, most of this is repetition, and I think none of you. I mean, if I was teaching perhaps 70-year-old students or 60-year-old students, maybe they wouldn't have had the same exposure to English when they were growing up and also in their ongoing careers. They have more problems or more issues with expressing themselves in English because they don't get this on a daily basis anyway. But nowadays, I think more or less all of us are exposed to English all the time, so it will be more easy to grasp. It will be hopefully more user-friendly because it's just taking it up a notch. You already know how to speak English, otherwise you wouldn't be on this course. You wouldn't even, I think, getting past college without speaking English, because it's a necessity nowadays.
Exactly.
It's enough if you just buy a new mobile phone. Just setting your phone language to Swedish could take you a while if you don't know how to do it. But I think we're forced to speak English in various ways, and even though we're obviously have different levels, most of it will just be repetition and taking up a notch. So it won't be reinventing the wheel. It won't be rocket science, I don't think. But hopefully you'll get something out of it.
Of course. Thank you.
And I'm not sure, you're living in Borås now?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And maybe on the streets of Borås, you might not have to speak English all the time. But I'm sure you're using it anyway on a daily basis, even though you don't go out and can't think of any landmarks in Borås, any squares or streets. But anyway, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you don't go out on the streets and basically stop someone and start speaking English to them, but you get it anyway from TV, etc. So I'm sure you've got it in your head daily.
Yeah, and I speak a lot to my friends from my time in the UK.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
That's
I get to
wonderful.
practice it then.
That's good. Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And I look forward to hearing more about Kensington some other time.
Yes, you will.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Who have we got next? Sorry, I've got a tickly nose as well. Carolina.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Carolina and I'm 22 years old. I'm from Borås and I still live here with my family, but I just bought my first own apartment. So I'm moving there this summer. I'm a creative person who loves to create things and take photos. English is not my strongest subject, so this is definitely a challenge for me, but I look forward to this course and learn some useful things for the future. For example, how you behave in an English meeting and how to write a mail in the best way, and just being more comfortable to speak English.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for sharing. I think, Carolina, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's important to feel comfortable, but you shouldn't lose yourself. You should still be able to get your personality across in a different language, and that's, I think, could be a part of the challenge. But as long as you're comfortable in your own skin and with speaking English, then I'm sure you'll be fine. So we'll, same thing as I said before, practice, practice, practice. Use the time we have together. So when I send you off to do an exercise, try to, as much as possible, just speak English to the other person, even though that sounds, it might be really odd to start with because you know each other from before, you know that you both speak Swedish, obviously, but try to get past that, and whether you do it on the phone or in a different Zoom meeting or whatever, I don't mind, but yeah, try to utilize the time well, because we only got what, six lessons together and a presentation round at the end, so it's not much time, but if you can boil that down as much as possible to just speaking English, that would be brilliant. But thank you for sharing. Look forward to learning more about your creative side then. Excellent, thank you. And Christopher.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
My name is Christopher and I'm 41 years old, born and raised in Borås also.
Mm-hmm.
Got a wife and a little daughter. She's 3 years old, and I got a background in the music industry. So now I'm back in school to become an art director, I think. That will be great to get an education in art directing.
So can you try to combine music with art directing?
Yes, that's quite a goal to be able to combine the skills. Yes, and with this course, my goal is to be able to express myself in a better way in English. It's not that much English talking in my life, and to be comfortable in speaking in public, you know, and a better way to express in English.
Yeah, more comfortable in speaking in public, and you've got your camera hidden. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's
I'm sure that's
after the coronavirus period. Yeah.
So maybe the examination will be easier for you than it would have been otherwise, which is good.
Yeah, right.
But I would encourage you then, not force, but encourage, to when we do group exercises, don't let the other person take over too much, and make sure that you do some of the presenting back to the class.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing. And the 3-year-old daughter, is she at home with you now?
No, no, not in. Which is well, jag vet inte vad förskola heter.
Yeah, kindergarten or nursery.
Yeah, the kindergarten. So she's arriving at 4 o'clock. So
okay. Oh, good. We'll finish
it's
before
it's calm when it's lessons. It's calm here at home. Yeah. Then it's playtime.
I was speaking to my a friend in England yesterday actually, and she said it's difficult because thankfully they have a house and a garden. Most other friends live in flats, so they struggle a little bit with this lockdown period.
Yeah.
But she said they've got, so it's her and her husband are working from home. He sits in the kitchen, she sits in the guest bedroom, and they have twins at the age of 10 who she's supposed to be homeschooling. Because they're not going to school at the moment. So saying those twins are not actually the best of friends anyway. And it's really hard. They basically sit in the living room trying to do things on their own and constantly having to interrupt her at work in different online meetings like this because I don't understand the maths question, or Iris has just hit me on the head with a book, and it's I think she's struggling with the whole concept of everyone has to stay under the same roof. Yeah. I'm supposed to be doing a full-time job, so is my husband, and we're supposed to be full-on teachers as well. How does that work?
Yeah, that sounds difficult.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to have a music studio at my house in the.
Oh wow!
So I'm able to get away from the disturbing parts.
Yeah, so escape.
The escape, yeah. The man cave, the creative cave. I call it the creative cave.
Nice. Okay, so that's like the equivalent of a panic room as well when that's needed.
The panels, yeah. Sometimes it feels like that. I used to call the creative room to be in a positive way.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Excellent.
Thank you.
And if you're a creative person, I think sometimes I've heard it's better if you kind of have your area. It doesn't have to be a room. It could be in the garden or by the beach, but somewhere where you feel this is where I go to have my creative process are flowing freely. There's no boundaries or limits.
Absolutely, yeah. That's my I agree to that. You got a creative comfort zone in some way. So it's
interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And what about Lina?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
My name is Lina, and I'm from Syria. Sorry. I mix up between English and Swedish sometimes. I grew up in Saudi Arabia, and I got my high school and university in Syria. Worked a little in China. I've lived in Sweden for almost 5 years now. I love to work creatively, turn ideas into reality, and that's why art director or graphic designer suits me perfectly, I guess. Looking forward to be more or to learn new words, of course, to be professional in this branch. And it's gonna be very nice to study English for 3 weeks, especially for me because I haven't spoken English for a long while now. Yes.
Oh, just speaking Swedish must take up so much of your brain capacity.
Yes, and yeah, Arabic, English, Swedish, and little Chinese. So I mix up all together now.
Crikey. And also it must be very. I mean, you said 5 years, so you're used to Sweden now, but
yes,
it's quite a culture shock, I would say, from the different countries that you've traveled through before.
Yeah, it's exactly culture shock.
In a good way or a bad way?
And I know, sometimes in bad way, I think, because when I speak English, it's difficult to turn in English totally. I mix up them quite more. When I came here, so I spoke just English, so it was like very easy for me. But when I started to study Swedish, so I turned my computer to Swedish, so I totally forgot English. So it's very difficult to speak in English. And especially, I don't have friends who speaks English here, so I speak just Swedish. So yeah, it's.
Oh wow! Well, I'm
good
impressed.
to study in English again now.
You have to reverse your mind back to when you only spoke English. Then.
Yes, yes. I studied English literature actually in Syria, so it was really nice. But now I feel like I just forgot everything. So that's why I didn't practice. I don't speak English at all. I can see.
I will change that.
Yeah, thank you. So it's.
And also, having learned that some of your other classmates now also speak English, you can call them, can't you?
Yeah. So I think it's a very nice chance to practice English altogether. I think.
To brush up on it. Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank.
Nice. And we'll try to make you as comfortable as possible. That's for sure.
Thank you.
But then you know what perhaps you agree with what I said about Swedish must be a difficult language to learn. I'm not sure about the grammatical setup in Arabic, for instance, but I think it must be difficult.
I agree with you. It's very difficult. I can see there is no rule in Swedish grammar. There's no rule. So yeah. But it's all with practicing. Without practicing, I think just can't learn the language. So it's practicing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
But so if you're this course or this whole program, I would say course for the English bit, because that's my bit. That's a course, and in my head, the rest of it is a program. So the AD copy program, that it's a lot of word-based exercises, I would say. How do you find that? Because that's supposed to be just in Swedish, then.
What do you mean?
So the courses that you've taken up till now, they're obviously only in Swedish, and you're choosing a profession that's word-based mostly.
Yeah, you're right. That's the difficulty in my side. I can see. Yes, it's very difficult. Actually, I plan to study this branch in English in Jönköping, but I couldn't do that. So I turned to Plan B. So it was in English. It was in Swedish. So I can't stay just home and don't study. I want to study and work. If I can see it creatively work, I'm planning to improve myself in this branch in English. But after I get this, I get graduate, I think. But you really, I think you really touch it. It's very difficult for me to study in Swedish this branch, but it's gonna be nice, I guess.
Yeah, you'll nail it. It will be fine. I'm impressed. You're not the challenge.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a big challenge, but we can make it, all of us.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, Linnea.
Yes, hello. I hope my dishwasher doesn't take up too much sound in the background. But my name is Linnea. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Gothenburg. I'm born and raised, and I live here with my fiance, Rasmus. I love traveling, my cats, and being creative. And I hope to, with this course, learn a more formal way of writing and generally just freshen up my English writing skills overall.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So similar to what other people have said then, formal writing, formal communication.
Yes, exactly.
And even with the dishwasher, you sound very comfortable in English, so that's good.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Louise.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
My name is Louise and I live in Värnamo. It's about 1.5 hours from Borås. I love to be creative and draw and paint a lot on my spare time. And I want to be an art director or graphic designer when have graduated. And so what I want from this course is to learn the most common used words in the marketing business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And okay, so there, I've put together a glossary. I don't think I've uploaded that on Ping Pong yet, but I'll do that later on. Those are the kind of words that I've picked up on when I've Googled and spoken to some PR companies or advertising agency here in Varberg that are customers of mine, actually, that I've just done some brainstorming with. What do I need to include? But you're also now, having studied almost a full year of this course or this program, I think all of you, I'm encouraging you to add more as we're going along. To say, okay, so this is a word we use in Swedish, what would that be in English, and help each other out with that, so that we're creating a better glossary som ordlista. So together we'll form a better document that you can fall back on in the future. I've started it and I'm eager to improve it, should we say, but I'll upload that later, and then the more you can use it when we're doing exercises, try to use the words that are popping up in your head. If you're knowing what you want to say in Swedish and you're unsure about the English word, find out, look it up, ask me or Google it, use different marketing tools online so that you're getting more familiar with the language and not just having a list of words in front of you, but actually using them when we're talking to each other. But yeah, brilliant. So it's new words and improving your vocabulary. Yep. Vocabulary. Wonderful. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. What about Marcus? What have you got to add?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Marcus Schuhage. I'm from Jönköping originally, but I live in Borås since last fall. And I want to work in an advertisement firm in the future. So I guess a lot of the work will be in English in my career. So I would like to learn how to make more professional presentations in English for these cases.
Excellent. Where did you do your internship, Marcus?
In a firm called Beyond Communication here in Borås.
Okay. And did you find that was useful? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was great. Not so much in English. Most of the companies don't work internationally, but it was great. Great experience.
And maybe that could be taking the firm to another level. It doesn't necessarily have to be internationally, does it? It could be that you're attracting a target audience within Sweden that don't prefer, for whatever reason, not to use Swedish as the first language when they're looking for things.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something you need to introduce to the business then.
Of course. When I think about it, I think they have a clothing label that work internationally, but they didn't have the honor to work with it.
Okay. But that's good. Keep an eye on them then. See what they're posting out there. So you're learning more about the business from an international perspective as well. And Sjöhage, you can't say that you're from any other country either, can you? But
oh, it's hard.
So it's a Marcus Lake Meadow then.
Lake Meadow, okay. I thought it was Lakefield, but Lake Meadow, okay.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. And Millie, I've already seen you on before the camera, but please feel free to show yourself again if you so wish, or just talk to me.
Yes, hello. Yes, my name is Millie. I'm 25 years old and I live in a small town called Kinna, approximately 25 minutes from Borås.
In my direction?
Yes, for one to Varberg.
Yeah.
I'm the one who said that English is läskigt. So with this course, I want to be more confident with my English. And my hopes are that you can learn us a lot in a fun and relaxed way.
Yes, I'm pretty relaxed, apart from my suit. I'll make sure it's fun, that's for sure. If I don't manage that, then you need to tell me, and don't wait till the last lesson.
I won't.
Good. And I'm sure we'll I'll do my best to wash away that sort of läskigt label.
Good.
We don't want that. We want it to be nice and fun. Excellent. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And Patrice, who can now hopefully both hear us and see us.
Hello.
What have you got to share?
Yes. My name is Petrit. I'm 27 years old and I live in Borås. I like to read the books and play instruments. And my expectations for this course is to develop my communication skills in both writing and speaking, but also learn new tricks, receive advice, and learn new ways of new phrases, so that I can improve my professional language when in contact with clients. So yeah, I have positive expectations for this course.
Excellent. Good. Positivism. Positivity is good. I like it. Slightly better than optimism, I suppose, because it's got more of a real sense to it. But you said something about picking up tricks and learning more. So I would ask you to ask for feedback, basically. And so when you're discussing, when you're doing group exercises or with another person at least, don't be afraid to ask for help in terms of pronunciation, how you pronounce something, or ask them, how would you put this? How would you explain this? How would you say in this particular instance? So that you can learn from each other. And I can't remember. Was it Caroline? No, it wasn't. Was it Judith who said that more of a refresher? I think some of the exercises that I'm going to ask you to do might be feeling like, oh, why are we doing this? We've done similar things in this program before, or this is dating back to, I don't know, college times or whatever. But it's repetition, but also the more you speak and listen to others, you will learn different ways of saying things. You will learn different ways of phrasing things, and you can help each other become better. But you can also pick up new ways of, okay, so I can incorporate that in my own language. I like that particular word, or I like that particular expression, and I want to use that more often in my own way of speaking. But yeah, brilliant. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And on the subject of feedback, don't give feedback to someone who is not willing to listen or don't want it. But when you hear, that goes for all of you, obviously, not just Petrit. If you hear someone using the wrong grammatical term or the wrong preposition, or something that you feel could be said in a different way, ask their permission first to say, is it okay if I share something with you that I picked up on when you speak, etc. So wait for their acknowledgement and their permission before you just wade in there. But I think if you can be not brutally honest, but honest and supportive to one another, I think all of you will improve with time. All right, Pontus, over to you.
Hello, my name is Pontus. I'm 26 years old and I live on a small farm in Seglora, just south of Borås, together with my girlfriend and our 2 cats. I want to refresh and broaden my English vocabulary and hopefully get more confident in my English speaking and writing. I haven't been actively practicing my English since college, so it feels good to get a chance to dust it off.
Okay, good. Well, you're doing well so far, so no worries there.
Thank you.
So in Seglora, there's not many opportunities of speaking English on a daily basis.
No, maybe to the cats.
And you also get obviously such an intellectual answer then.
Yeah.
Good. Especially if you're discussing, I don't know, literature or something like that.
Yeah, true.
Nice. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. And Selma.
Yes, hi. My name is Salma. I'm 23 years old and I live in Borås, born and raised here. And what I want from this course is to learn like more branch-oriented words and new phrases and terms. And I guess like become better at formal writing, just be more comfortable with it and like sound more professional sounding in writing.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah. Cool. A few of you had said branch orientated. Now I would try to steer you onto the industry instead, industry orientated. A branch to me is either on a tree, you have different branches, or a filial in Swedish. So different offices based on the same firm, but different offices across the world would be called the Singapore branch or the Stockholm branch. What you're talking about is industry, but yeah, thank you. So similar to what the others were saying, trying to be perhaps more formal, more business orientated when that's needed. And it's a pleasure to meet you or be presented to you, Selma, even though I can't only see a big S on my screen. At least it's nice to have a dialogue. I'm not sure I'm going to get through these 3 weeks with just talking to a brick wall. So I'm going to be asking you loads of questions, and feel free to just be open and unmute your microphones when you fancy it. All right? But thank you.
No, thank you.
And Victoria. Is she with us? I can see you're unmuted, but what happens next? Can't hear you. If you've got a, could you perhaps have a mute button somewhere? Oh, you popped up on the screen, but only small. How is that possible?
Victoria, your phone.
We can't hear you, Victoria.
Micken.
Nope, can't hear you. I can see you. But you're unmuted, so you must be on your I'm assuming it's some setting on your computer rather than in the presentation bit.
Is it working now?
Yay!
Yay!
Hurrah!
Cool.
Technology is with us.
I'm not sure what happened there, but right. So I'm Victoria, and I'm turning 30 this summer, which brings me some slight anxiety.
It's okay on the other side as well. Can I tell you?
Right. Okay, cool. Good to know. I am from Vimmerby in Småland. So I moved to Borås in August, and I'm here to hopefully become some sort of art director, graphic designer, something. And what I wish to get out from this course is, well, basically, of course, learning the industry language and improving my chances of maybe getting a job abroad in the future, if that's what I end up wanting.
to have the whole world in front of your feet. You can do whatever you want. The world's your oyster.
That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to make that happen then, won't we?
Sounds good.
So even if that's eventually, even if that's not what you want or ending up wanting, at least the option should be there, I think. Yeah. Should be within your grasp if you so wish.
Mm.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Is that all of you? I'm just trying to scroll through the list again. I think so, right? Have I missed anyone? If so, speak now or forever hold your peace. No, it sounds good. Right, a couple of questions from me, really. What do you normally do in terms of break times and stuff? If we'd been in a classroom now, I would have probably had a break around about 10 o'clock, and then probably another break around 11, and then we'll break for lunch at 12. So roughly an hour at a time, give or take a few minutes here and there. And then in some classrooms, in physical classrooms, we've had an hour for lunch, and in others we've had half an hour to maximize the day in a shorter space of time. And now you're on home-based, it's completely up to you, really. Do you normally, what I just want to know, how have you managed this up to now? Do you want to have a short break now and then we'll break for lunch at 12:30, something like that? Or what do you prefer? How long is your normal lunch break? Anyone?
Usually 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour, please.
Okay, fine, cool. Anna?
Yeah, we usually have like lessons for 45 minutes, and then we have a 15-minute break, roughly, when we're in school. Yeah, and then 1 hour lunch. And I don't think we have been at school until 4, because we have a lot of group projects. So just, maybe we'll get tired. At least I will.
Yeah, normally in classrooms, I would tend to, around 2:30, people are sort of slightly starting to drift off, and by 3 o'clock, most of the people are fast asleep. No, only joking. But I can sense that there's normally a lot of information going on. Although you are clearly all comfortable in English, that much is obvious to me. There's lots of brain activity going on. Even though you might be comfortable with it, you have to, in your head, translate. You're supposed to be socializing with the others in a different language, doing exercises, and that's quite tolling on the brain. I think that's taxing. So I'm not surprised that by sort of 3 o'clock-ish, people are getting a little bit tired. But we'll see how far we get today, also with my throat. And I want to get you started on various this examination project as well, so the assignment. But tell you what, then it's 11:15 now. Shall we meet back here at 11? And I need to find something to share with you on ping pong. Is that all right? And then so if we break for lunch at 12, in between 12 and 1, and then we'll pick up again.
Super.
Super, but I'll see you back here at 11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Så. Såg jag Mikaela poppa upp där kanske? Tyckte hennes namn snurra förbi. Hon var inte med i morse, eller? Mikaela, är du där?
Jag är här.
Trevligt. Missade jag dig i morse kanske?
Jag fick lite besked som jag behövde ordna med, så jag var tvungen att hoppa ur och fixa med det.
Ja, okej.
Det var därför. Så jag var...
Så länge du inte fick lite panik så är det helt okej.
Ja, jag var tvungen att hoppa ur och fixa lite bara så. För jag var med först, men sen hände det lite grejer.
Ja, men det är helt okej. Men nu när jag såg ditt namn poppa upp så tänkte jag, men då ska jag ju också fråga dig naturligtvis. How do you feel about this course and who are you? Sorry.
A little unprepared here, but I feel good about this course and looking forward to learning more business-related words and being able to sound more professional.
Good. Well, you did very well there. So, well done. It's all about daring, isn't it, really? So, well done. Thank you. And it's great to have you with us. And as I said this morning, if you need to, not you particularly, but anyone who needs to bob in and out, if you can't participate in certain lessons or parts of lessons, that's up to you. Hopefully you should be able to watch all the recordings afterwards on ping pong. We'll try to make that work. But if you need extra help for anything, or if you're going to be away for a couple of lessons, feel free to give me a shout on email, and then I can share with you what we're about to do, or new exercises and stuff like that. Otherwise, I tend to share things on ping pong either after the lesson or during the lesson, because you need something to work on. From experience, I realized that if I put things up in advance, people are going to start to look at it and perhaps even do the exercises in ahead of time in advance, and then don't get the benefit of talking through it with your colleagues or classmates. So I try to post things up either as we're going along through the lesson or at the end of each lesson, so that the person who has missed this opportunity to listen in and be actively participating, they can do the kind of exercises together with the recordings. So I hope that will work for you. If you need anything else from me, just holler and give me a shout. Right, so last stretch before lunch then. Let's move this up to 12 o'clock. I need to try to share something with you. And my thought process, when Klaus said that we have to be completely online, my initial thought was, heck, how am I going to be able to do this kind of course without group discussions and stuff like that? So I'm having to adapt some things. And one of them will be when I'm asking you to work in pairs or threesomes. Usually in the classroom, I would just ask you to stand up, walk around the room for a little bit to get more energy into the room and get some blood pumping through your veins, and then stand maybe 3 and 3 or 4 and 4 together and discuss a certain topic. Now we can't do that, so to make it as easy as possible, I thought if I pair you up with, so working 2 and 2 instead of in bigger groups. So for the rest of the day, when I ask you to do something in pairs, I want you to work with this particular person, just to make it easier. We'll see how that works throughout today, and otherwise I'll have to come up with some other arrangement for Thursday. Unless you've got something to share from varumärkesstrategi, that course, perhaps you did things differently. Does anyone have any input from there? No. Stone cold silence. Excellent. So then I'll just move with my my initial plan then. So I'm not even sure if we're even numbers, but let's try this. So if Agnes can work with Anna, Emma will work with Felicia, Felix and Frida, Hannah will work with Judith, Carolina with Christopher, Linnea with Louise, Marcus with Millie, Michaela with Petrit, Pontus Selma and Victoria all together at the end. And then I'll try to pair you up with someone new tomorrow or even later on today. Because I think the more people you speak to in English, the more you actively listen to what they've got to say, the more you will learn yourself as well. So good. Now I was hoping to do this. If I share this screen with you, can I share it like this? Right, professional communication. How formal do you think you have to be with someone you do not know or you have not yet met? When it says discussing groups of 2 for approximately 5 minutes, I'll give you slightly longer than 5 minutes, I think, just because I need you to call each other or somehow or another connect offline. It's better for me if you actually speak it rather than just texting each other or emailing each other. I think you need to talk as much as possible through this course. And also, I'm not in favor of homework. The only thing I'll send you away with every day is more listening, actively listening, basically. But I'll tell you more about that at the end of the day. So what we do in the classroom is mostly word, as in communicating via verbally and in writing, but most of it will be verbally, simply because that's what you will struggle with doing that on your own. So considering we're in the classroom environment, let's use each other, practice our English pronunciation and the words we use, all right? So I want to know your personal thoughts. Nothing's right or wrong in this instance. I just want you to... Oh, hold on a second. I just want to ask you a question. Do you think I'm speaking too fast or too quietly or anything? Could I have some feedback on that, please?
I think it's
great.
perfect. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, otherwise you'll have to holler. If I'm going too fast or you can't hear me, then shout, all right? Because when I'm sharing my screen like this, I can't see whether you're putting your hand up or trying to write something in the chat box. So if there's something that you need to ask or something you want, some input you want to give, then just unmute your microphone and be part of the group, okay? So it's coming on to 10 past 11. In this particular instance, there's no right or wrong. Well, in any case, actually, I don't think I'm going to give you many exercises apart from when it comes to grammar, where there's a right and a wrong as such. But these kind of discussions or debates, meetings, argumentative discussion or things like that, I think as long as you're putting your case forward, it's your views and your opinions, and I'm not going to tell you you're right or wrong, all right? But I want you to discuss this in pairs, and from your personal experience, how formal do you think you have to be with someone that you, both in Sweden and abroad, that you have not yet met and do not know? All right, so I'll give you, well, up to somewhere in between 15 and 20 past. Say it's 20 past. I'll see you back here at 20 past and connect with the person that I've just paired you up with offline. All right? Questions? Oh, good. I'll leave this up on the screen so that it's available for you. I'm back here at 20 past. All right, I think most of you are back in. And I don't think I'm muting my microphone through this, so I hope you can hear me. Oh, that was my knee distracting me if you wanted to know. All right. Well, let's see. Let's start from the bottom then. Victoria's group.
Yes.
What have you got to share? What did you come up with?
Well, we discussed that it probably depends on the context or the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of depends on what like person it is. If it's like a professor in school, you'll probably be more formal than if you're speaking to a student at the same school or in school.
Would you say that's in Sweden as much as anywhere else, or would you be different to class or to me compared to your classmates?
Yes, for me it would.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as big a difference as in like UK, for example, but yeah, a difference anyway.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, fine. I totally agree with you. I'm gonna just jump here and do random names, I think, considering I can't remember who I paired up with whom. Christopher, any thoughts on this?
Yes, we discussed that it also depends on the situation and how your personality is, and your arena as a person. The arena, according to the formal arena, is smaller than the social arena against your friends. So, pretty small arena.
Oh, interesting. Yes, and you mentioned personality as well. Of course, that's
yes, that's
a part in it.
Yeah, that's right. Something more, Carolina, that we discussed?
No, it also depends on the industry, as Victoria said.
Yes.
Yes, so the setting or the situation that you're in, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but Carolina mentioned industry. Could you elaborate?
Yeah, perhaps in the how formal you are in the perhaps entertainment industry or in chemical industry or as a lawyer. It can be quite a difference, I think. We think.
Yeah.
Good. And you mentioned personality. I'm assuming you mean your own then. Would you consider the other person's personality? I mean, fair enough, you don't know them as such.
I don't know what to say.
Or maybe not.
No. Yeah.
I'll let you get off the. I'll let you off the hook. Don't worry, Christopher. You've done well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emma, well done. Thank you for sharing. Emma, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, me and Felicia talked about the same thing as Victoria and others, that it depends on the situation. Because, like, if you are on a job interview with someone you never met, of course you have to be more formal than if I met Felicia's friend or something. So we came up to that it depends.
Yeah.
So to say.
Yeah. It's and some of you mentioned it this morning as well. What you wanted out of the course to be able to adapt, perhaps your language, but also then how formal you are in different situations. Oh, there you are. Hello. Yeah. Yes, I think that's absolutely right. I totally agree. Does anyone else have anything else to share? Specific examples, perhaps something that you've thought about? That I've been in this situation and this happened. It was uncomfortable, or
Hi, Felix.
Yeah.
Hi. First off, I would like to start off with a question. Is this only face-to-face, or is it through like video or phone or
any? I didn't. Right.
Yeah, because from my own experience, I have worked at Telia as at their support call center, where people often called in because they needed help with our technical stuff, and I neither saw or have met that person before, and then I had to, like everyone else mentioned, that you have to like what's the word? Adjust the language you're speaking. For instance, let's say the people I was talking to, or the person I was talking to was talking technical terms, then I knew that I could talk a technical language with that person. But let's say someone in my like grandma's age called, then I couldn't talk in that kind of language. So that was an example.
Yeah, and it could make the person on the other end of the line, it could make them very uncomfortable, couldn't it? If you start reading off loads of technical terms or press this, press that, and that happens because X, Y, Z, then the person would automatically feel uncomfortable. They don't know how to respond. They feel stupid, and you've put them outside their comfort zone. Even if that perhaps is needed at a later stage, maybe that's not where you start off. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but if I were to use technical terms with someone who didn't really knew them, I had to like say it in different words. I had to explain in another way for those people.
Yeah, and I think the same goes for well, call centers in particular in Sweden. They're very familiar with people when they're calling out. When I get phone calls, because I have a business phone, I can't use Nix because it's a business phone. So I frequently get calls and people trying to be my best friend all of a sudden, even though I've never met them. I don't want to buy their product. It's irrelevant. But they call up and they say, "Oh, hi, Åsa, how are you doing?" And I'm thinking, and who the hell are you? But that's the Swedish way, isn't it? We don't use surnames. We don't use herr and fru, fröken, as they would do in Britain, for instance. I think the Americans are also slightly more laid back than the Brits. But if you come from the British society and joining the Swedish, that was a culture shock for me. And I can almost be sometimes offended when they're trying to chit-chat with me as though we've known each other for years. I would rather be addressed with Fröken Bengtsson, if that's the case, or at least my full name, and you don't need to know what I did this weekend. It's fine if you just stick to a formal script of what you need to sell to me. But absolutely, I think that's one thing that's different. You have to adapt to based on the person's knowledge of something or question in your case, and also how formal. If you're speaking to someone of an older generation, you're probably not going to try to be as friendly, even in Swedish, to start with. You probably need to make them feel comfortable first, treat them with respect. And that's certainly more true. I mean, if you take Germany, for instance, and we'll get more into intercultural differences tomorrow, Thursday. But I think if you're talking to someone in Germany, you definitely wouldn't go with first name basis for a long time, is my opinion. But that's just my experience. I'm not saying anything else is wrong, but I have in the past made mistakes where I've tried to be too friendly, too Swedish, too soon.
All right. I'd like to hear more about that. Maybe later.
I'm blushing just thinking about it. Anyway, good. Thank you for sharing. So yes, it depends on whether you're face to face as well. I think it's easy to adapt your style to suit the other person. It's probably easier when you're face to face with someone, even if you meet them for the first time. Now we're not supposed to shake hands at the moment, but back in the old days when we did, just as soon as you shake someone's hand and you join a conference room and you're meeting someone for the first time, you can immediately see what kind of well, first of all, respect. What kind of formality is this person expecting from me? How much, what kind of hierarchy is in this room? Am I on the same level? Is this person feeling superior to me? How do I address him or her in a specific way to make him or her feel comfortable? And I personally feel that's easier when you're in front of someone, in face to face. But considering you now have to do more things online or on the phone, you kind of have to improve that sensitivity, so that when you pick up the phone, you should be able to gauge, mäta, uppskatta what the other person is feeling, thinking, expecting, wanting. And that's tricky, but I think it's a skill we all have to improve on in these Corona times. Sorry, I just need to write down gauge as well. That's one of those words where someone said it's difficult to spell. Gauge is certainly one of them that doesn't sound as though it should be when you look at it. Okay, interesting. Anyone else that want to share any thoughts from your discussions?
Hi, I can share. Me and Agnes, we talked a lot about, as you said, that it's a big difference between Swedish polite and like international polite. And that it's important to remember that. And also in writing, not only because it could be like when you, as you said, like you don't know anybody and we're probably gonna email a lot of people in our work. That it's important to remember the polite phrases more. Because if I email someone in Swedish, I would probably just write, "Hey, Åsa." But in English, I need to remember that it's dear Mrs. or Miss or Mr. and stuff like that. So yeah, as you said, we are a bit more friendly. So we talked a lot about that.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, excellent. I think we'll come on to the letter writing soon. I've got a couple of examples as well. But yeah, brilliant. I think, especially if you're contacting a client for the first time, or someone that you're, for whatever reason, you want to make contact with, if you step on their toes by addressing them incorrectly, I'm not saying we should all be high and mighty and oh, I'm so important, you need to address me with Mrs. or Miss. But I think as a sense of politeness to start with, if I receive a letter with Dear Miss Bengtsson, and then whatever subject and signed by someone, that so I know who it's from, I'm more than willing to then respond with just my first name in my next letter, because I'm absolutely open to a more friendly discussion. They don't have to stick to my full name. But if you, perhaps by mistake, or perhaps I don't know, because you want to, you go with the Swedish way of just using the first name and an informal hello. If you step on that person's toes, are they likely to then use you in the future, in terms of if you're a supplier, if you're a company that you should want to do business with, are they likely to pick up the phone tomorrow and say, oh, actually, Anna, it was lovely that I got that letter from you? If they feel offended, they're not likely to. So I usually try to instill in my pupils that being too polite is probably better.
Yeah, we said
and then again, gauge. Sorry.
No, sorry. We just said, like, as you're saying, that it's better to let the person that you're writing to let you, like, it's okay to use my first name. Like that they give you the godkännande. I don't remember the word now, but
yeah, permission.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, that it's more important to be over polite, maybe, and remember that.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Similar with I don't know, dress codes and things like that. And how friendly you are, even with smileys and stuff. Gauge what the other person is comfortable with. I talk a lot. I use an awful lot of words. but I also have certain clients that I know I can't do that with because they lose interest after my first 3 lines. So if I want to make a sale, I need to make it short, swift, to the point. And that's also with regards to personality. It doesn't suit me, but if it suits my client, I'm more than willing to make that sacrifice. I'll just make a note of what you said. Oh, I lost the word now. Permission, yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All important. How to in this day and age, it's more about how we're listening. I think, how we listen to what the other person is saying, and listening between the lines, listening between the words and phrases, and trying to pick up what kind of personality is this. How can I mimic to make that person feel comfortable? I'm sure you've all heard about the different colors or disc personalities, etc. Are you a blue person or a yellow person or whatever? That comes into play as well. And also with regards to formality, maybe certain personalities will stick to the formal touch for longer, even if you've had a relationship for many years, a business relationship for many years. You might still stick to a very formal language because that person is more comfortable with it. So in my experience, it's better to be over polite, but I encourage you to be curious. When you're watching TV or watching a series, listening to people in the street, people who meet or talk to each other on the phone, etc., listen in, eavesdrop, see what you think would work better for you in the future, perhaps, or things that you wouldn't have done, and just be inquisitive and curious to what kind of adaptation you could do. And with regards to business English, especially if you're talking to people or writing to people that don't have English as the first language, business English is generally a formal base that everyone meets upon or in. And if you stick to those kind of formal rules, then at least you've not offended anyone to start with, and your counterpart can then set the tone for the following few letters or the following few chats over the phone or meetings. But yeah, over politeness, I think works best. Cool. And let's see if I can, just gonna have a quick peek at what comes next. Yeah. I have, this is a group discussion. I'll share another screen. I won't bother sending you off in groups right now, so we can just chat in the group together about this one. Because we've touched upon it already. So instead of calling each other up again, just discussing in here. Do you think it's different to talk to someone compared to write to them, either via letter, email, or text messages? Text messages is SMS. And I think you've all alluded to this before. I think it is different. But how would it be different? Would you, and I'm opening this up to anyone, unmute your microphone if you want to share. Would you text someone as a first point of contact? You've not met them, it's a potential customer of yours, would you text them?
Do you mean instead of ring, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, as in, if you've spotted a company online that you think is really exciting, and you want to work with them on an ad campaign. You run your own company, for instance, and you want to get in touch with these people. Would you start by text messaging them?
No, I would choose email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
That seems more professional than sending a text, because I can telephone them, of course. That's one thing too. But text messages is like something you maybe do more with people you know or I met that way, I think. But I don't know. But I would choose an email, and you can get more text in there, and so.
Yeah, interesting. Now, this is also interesting because I can't see who's speaking, but thank you for sharing. I can only see my own beautiful picture. This is really thank you. I hope I learn the sound of your voices eventually, but that could take some time. So sorry for being rude and not knowing your names. Okay, so yeah, interesting. But you also say you would prefer an email then, compared to a letter?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone born in the 90s, 1990s and onwards would probably say email more than letter. Can you think of when it would be different, when you would want to send off a proper letter in the post rather than emailing someone?
I have no idea. I would probably never send a letter, I think, to everyone.
So you're not the one. You're not the person keeping post-note at work.
No,
not
really. Online shopping.
Okay, cool. Anyone else? Yeah, sorry.
I think maybe Christmas card you send to your friends. I do do that.
Yeah, or your customers.
Oh yeah, that's too.
I think if I'm speaking from personal experience again, if I want to share something with my customer where I want them to feel a little bit more special, it could be a Christmas card, like I say. It could be I'm having a special offer on something, or I want to make them feel valued as a customer. It could be that because I'm an Anglophile, I could be sending them a tea bag. It doesn't really matter. It could be a postcard. It could be a letter outlining a new price list, but with a nice note to it. That I would probably send via letter. I don't send anything else like invoices and stuff in the post. I do that by email. But for me, it's turned into a more of a luxury approach, where before it was obviously everything was done by letter. But I think nowadays for me it's more for the chosen customers that I've bothered enough to print something off, sign with my own name. I've put a stamp on it. I've gone down to the post box. That is slightly more elaborate. I've had to work a little bit harder for it than just hitting the send button on an email. So to me, it seems a little bit more of a VIP thing. Does anyone agree?
I agree.
I also think if you want to reach a person who's old or maybe more formal, then you also want to use a written letter instead of email.
Yes, and it could be in a business sense. It could be the fact that you want to offer your products or your services to someone who you haven't yet made contact with. Sending them an email with a PDF might mean that that's going to end up in your spam mail, or they're not going to bother opening it even. They're not going to read it. If they get a letter with a brochure or a letter with a price list and you're explaining who you are and what kind of things you could offer, maybe that would get seen. They don't have to buy from you anyway, but if they can, it might be different holding something properly in their hands. They're getting something through the post that they have to open. They can look at it instead of an email could just be forgotten or disregarded in an easier way, I think. And there could be lots of other ways, but like you say, also an older generation, I think, could probably appreciate a letter more. And if there's something that is very official, so if you have to sign some legal documents or anything, now you can do some things with DocuSign and bank ID and things. Excuse me. But some things still have to be signed properly with a pen and perhaps even witnessed by someone, verified or authorized as such. That could also be a letter. But I would say for me it's different if I'm communicating something by a letter, it doesn't have to be a different level of formality for me necessarily. If I'm just treating well-known customers to something special, it could be very friendly anyway, but it would feel slightly more VIP. If I'm emailing someone, I wouldn't text anyone, I think, customer-wise, unless they've initiated that first. If someone opens up that conversation via email, via text messages, it could just mean that you've had a conversation via email, you've made an arrangement to meet in a cafe or in a specific hotel lobby or something, meet for lunch somewhere. Then it might mean, oh, we'll look up on via text just before we arrive, just to make sure that, oh, you're here, I don't know what you look like, I'm seated at table such and such, come and find me, I'm wearing a pink suit jacket or a carnation in my buttonhole so that you can find me. That would be the kind of text message I would share with my customers, nothing else. But that's, again, is my personal preference. With regards to Swedish colleagues or networking colleagues, I probably use more text messages because people here are used to it. Compared to in England, I would only use it for my friends, I think. But that's, yeah, it's my personal choice. Can you give me any other examples of what you think with regards to emails? The person who spoke before said something about the amount of text you can get into an email. That's also a limit, I think. How do you know that that person is reading all of it and not missing the bottom line of, would you like to buy from me? Any thoughts? Silence. I've either lost you, which I can't see, or no one has any thoughts on that.
I hear you.
Oh, good. It's really odd because my screen just changed, so I thought I might have lost you altogether. Can you still see my presentation, or just me?
Both.
Both. Okay, cool. We're about to break for lunch shortly, but I'll quickly run through this as well. Choosing American or British English. I'm not gonna put any pressure on you to use British English. That's just because I've been there, that's my nature, but it's absolutely fine speaking American. The only thing I would like you to do, especially in writing, is try to stick to one or the other. So if you look at the bit about the British English, they spell things with OU, for instance, or ISE at the end of verbs. So color, harbor, materialize, organize. På engelska då, på brittiska förlåt, stavas ju med OUR på slutet eller ISE. Whereas in American English tend to make things slightly easier and drop the U altogether. And also the verbs that in British end with ISE, American English tend to end with IZE. So materialize and organize, everything else is the same apart from that S turns into a Z. And I think once you start writing more, you will have you would favor one or the other, and that's fine. There's nothing bad about one or the other. Just try to, as much as possible, stick to one of them, because it's a more pleasant read for the person who's reading it, especially if you're communicating with an American. If you stick to British all the way through, that's fine. if you stick to American all the way through, that's also fine. But once you start mixing them up, it's not as pleasant to the eye as it would be otherwise. In the Eurozone, or Euro trash, as I like to call it, I think we mix them up. But if you're aware of the differences, at least you can try to improve your language a little bit and try to be better than anyone else, especially in Brussels and the EU connotations. I think everyone mixes loads going left, right and center, and probably also dumbing down, as in not being as bright as they would be in their own language. But I'm asking you to try to be aware of it when you're writing and pick out what will be best for you, American or British, and then stick to it. Questions on that? No? Another thing also with regards to slang or business jargon, we'll come on to that later on, I think, but I think I've got that on a different slide. All I would ask you is, similar to how you would not speak the same in Skåne as you would do in Haparanda, there are different words that we use in dialect or our own accent. If you think there's a word that in, say, British, that the Americans won't understand, don't use it. It's about the counterpart, not about you being clever. Either whether that's slang or whether it's like one of you said earlier, I can't remember who, about, oh yeah, it was the call center, obviously. If you were speaking to someone in technical terms, fine. But similar with the formality, you don't have to use words with lots of letters just because it sounds better. The important thing is that the person on the other side, whether it's spoken or written, understands you. So get your point across in a way that they feel as though they're understanding you, they're as clever as you are. You're not trying to be, horrid or trying to outsmart them, because that's never going to set the nice tone. Also, dates and currencies before we finish for lunch. I'm going to pick this up at a later stage, because this is something that needs to be repeated several times, but just skim through it now. If I'm pointing, I'm sitting here pointing with my pen, that's not going to help you. But if you look at the top bit, pay attention to commas and points when writing numbers down. So in Swedish, if you're writing 10,000 kronas, you would probably just write 10 and then a space and then 000. Some people put a comma in, most people don't, I think. But in English, that means something. So whether you put a comma or a dot actually has a huge difference. So where we would put a comma, alltså i decimalkommat, så om man ska säga 100 kronor och 50 öre, så har vi ju 100,50. Där sätter engelsmännen en punkt. Och där vi i vanliga fall då har ett mellanrum, eller möjligtvis ett mellanrum. Där sätter de ett kommatecken. Det här var väldigt komplicerat att säga när jag säger det högt, hör jag. Men om man tittar på den första raden då, där det står 10.000 eller 10,000. Den här 10,000 hade varit 10 000. Det andra hade varit 10 punkt till exempel, eller 10 kronor, utan några decimaler, utan några ören eller pence. Så i den nedre delen här, då hade det varit 250,750. Betyder 250 750. Och det andra är ju då 250,75, 250 pund och 75 pence. Så det får man hålla koll på. Speciellt om man då ska skriva offerter, kontrakt. Om ni lägger in en kampanj till en kund som ni ska visa hur mycket de här kommer sälja jämfört med vad de säljer just nu, så gäller det ju att ha den här kommatecknen punkten på rätt ställe, eller att veta varför man använder vad. Så att det inte blir fel. Så de inte tror att de kommer tjäna 2 pund istället för 2000 pund. Det hade varit tråkigt. Och när man pratar om tider och datum så är det också viktigt att den personen personen du pratar med eller skriver till förstår vilken tidpunkt eller vilket datum du verkligen refererar till. Så att om vi i Sverige säger 20 för årtalet, vad är det då? 0526. Så är det ju rätt så solklart att just eftersom vi vet att året är 20 så är det ju okej. Då tänker man att 26 kan ju inte vara en månad. Så då har man nog liksom räknat ut vad det betyder. Men engelsmännen och britterna och amerikanerna kastar om de där två. Så att den första som står på den raden, date, month, year, är brittiskt. Och den mellersta är det amerikanska sättet att skriva. De skriver månaden först. Så när de säger 9/11, som den här förfärliga olyckan i New York, så är det ju september den 11, inte tvärtom. Så igen, försök att hålla er till en och samma språkbas, antingen brittiska eller amerikanska. Men det viktiga är ju att personen ni pratar med förstår. Så att ibland så kan det till och med vara bättre att skriva ut vilket datum det är som det står lite längre ner. 28th of October till exempel. För att då kan det inte bli några konstigheter. Det är ju mestadels de datumen och när datumen är mindre än 12. För då kan det vara på båda hållen. Men det är ändå viktigt att liksom ha pejl på det. Att den personen som jag pratar med kanske inte är helt hundra på vad jag menar nu. Och då är det bättre att vara övertydlig på det. Something else we use in Sweden is this week something. Week 44, week, I think, what we now, week 24. Yeah, I can't remember. That's generally not used outside of Sweden. So in Britain you would have said week commencing, alltså den måndagen som veckan börjar med, week commencing the 28th of October. Så man använder sig av måndagen i en vecka och så säger man veckan som börjar med. Och det är alltid måndagen, inte söndagen då. Och samma sak med klockan. It's fine to use either a 12-hour clock or a 24-hour clock. But try not to, in a longer text, try not to mix too much. It's better to stick to one or the other. And again, make sure that the person on the other end does understand. So you're not saying, "Oh, I'll call you at 6 o'clock." Is that 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the evening? Depending on time zones as well. So pay attention to the fact that the person might not want to say that they don't understand. It could lead to awkward silences or person turning up at the wrong place at the wrong time, for instance. So make sure they understand. If you're using the somewhere in the middle there, it says 4 p.m. If you're using that p.m. or a.m., jag tror det är antemeridium eller postmeridium, alltså före och efter middag. Jag tycker alltid det är svårt med det här runt 12-slaget. Alltså, jag brukar säga antingen är det midnatt eller noon för mitt på dagen, om man säger. Och så det som kommer efter mitt på dagen blir då PM och allting innan dess från midnatt och fram till lunchtid är AM. Ja. Och sen har jag lite små symboler där nere och det är ju valutor då, currencies, different currencies. Och det är speciellt viktigt när man skriver kontrakt och offerter. To use different currencies. It doesn't necessarily have to be the currency that your client wants to buy in, but it's important to state a currency if you're dealing across different countries. So if you're dealing with someone in the US or in Germany, even if you're gonna charge them something in Swedish kronas, it's important to put out the abbreviation for that. So SEK på för svenska kronor till exempel. För de som inte har en sån här liten symbol, pund, euro, yen och så vidare. De som inte har det, då skriver man ut en tre bokstäver för att visa vilken valuta det är. Och det är också jätteviktigt för den utländska kunden då få veta. Så att om du tror att du tar betalt i svenska kronor men har inte skrivit det någonstans och de sitter i Tyskland då och tror att de ska betala i euro, ja men det blir ju en himla skillnad om de får en offert på 100 000 svenska kronor fast de tror att det är euro, då är det ju 1 miljon euro istället. Så att fundera hur ni skriver ihop det, och då finns det olika skolor på det och eller olika läror. Om man skriver valutan före eller efter den här nummerbiten emellan då, summan. Jag brukar skriva efteråt, men det är en smaksak. Har jag en symbol som en dollar eller ett pund så brukar jag sätta det före. Men har jag den här tre bokstavskombinationen så brukar jag sätta den efteråt. Så ska jag säga 10 000 pund så skriver jag 10,000 och så GBP för Great British Pounds. Och nu har klockan precis blivit 12. Innan jag släpper iväg på lunch, har jag någon fråga på det som det står på skärmen just nu? Eller tankar? Jag tar det som ett nej, det har vi inte. Det är bra. Men då ber jag Claes pausa. Den här, hur är det då? Här kan. Nej. Så. Nu ser ni bara mig, va?
Ja.
Bra. Men om klockan är 12 nu då, så om ni inte har frågor på det så då tar vi 1 timmes lunch enligt era önskemål. Och så ses vi här tillbaka igen då klockan 1. Och så vill jag Claes pausa under tiden. Men jag finns här online även om jag inte har på min mick och sådär. Så är det någonting så bara hojta högt så hör jag er. Okej? Annars så tillbaka här klockan 1 då. Tack för så här långt. Har jag gjort det tillräckligt oläskigt, Meli?
Jo, men det får jag ändå säga att du har lyckats.
Än så länge. Ja, men det är bra. Tack för att ni allihopa har bidragit så frikostigt, både med er tid och att ni har vågat prata inför gruppen. Då är ju hälften av sjöslaget, tänkte jag säga. Ni har orkat med så här långt, så ska vi nu klara av de andra dagarna också, tror jag.
Yes. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Excellent. Thank you for participating so far. So, see you back here at 1 o'clock.
Yes. Thank you.
See you.
Have a nice lunch.
Åsa?
Ja.
Jag mejlade dig häromdagen. Jag ska iväg nu.
Ja.
Och är iväg resten av dagen. Kunde jag kolla på den här inspelningen på pingpong sen?
Ja, jag förstår det så. Det var något problem med... jag kan inte spela in, men Claes skulle fixa det. Och då sa jag att jag mässar honom nu så han stänger av. Och sen så börjar vi igen då klockan 1 och då ska han kunna sätta på den igen. Han ska lägga upp i pingpong. Funkar inte det så får jag hojta på något annat sätt. Men det kommer att bli mera likt vi gjorde nu. Lyssna på varandra, diskutera. Men det var bra att du sa det, måste jag också omgruppera lite där.
Ja, precis. Jag var med Marcus där, så han kanske kan vara med en av dem som var 3.
Ja, det blir bra. Så lycka till då. Och så ses vi in på torsdag.
Tack snälla, det gör vi. Och tack så mycket för idag. Det har varit jättebra, verkligen.
Kul. Något jag kommer att säga senare är att jag skickar iväg er med att tänka lyssna gärna på TED Talks till exempel eller någon annan podd och så. För att jag vill att ni ska dela någonting med klassen på torsdag morgon om det. Så lyssna på någonting du tycker är intressant och sen kunna beskriva det på någon minut inför klassen på torsdag.
Yes.
Toppen. Tack så mycket. Ta vara på dig. Hej.